What phrases are you really sick of hearing? I made it my username. I like irony. Ugh, I hate that phrase. I've seen so many people use it totally wrong. If you're saying needless to say, the thing you're saying needs to be easily interpreted from the rest of the story. Like if you're telling a story like one time I got into a fight with my friend. He punched me in the face, I bit his arm. It would follow to go needless to say, we're not friends anymore. He got arrested, we worked out our aggression and now we're cool. It does not follow to then go needless to say, I joined the army and he's addicted to meth now. There's no possible way to draw those conclusions from the story, so needless to say doesn't make any sense to use. Every comment on YouTube is just, nobody, underscore. There is a logical flaw in that anyway. If nobody is doing nothing then everybody is doing something. It should really be everybody. Someone, punchline. It seems like a very recent trend that people repeat the exact same quotes or jokes over and over, and they continuously get like 1,000s of likes. I'm not saying people didn't repeat things in the past, and it's probably mostly kids and teens doing it, but literally I don't remember ever seeing videos flooded from top to bottom with the exact same jokes before. I guess I just don't get the satisfaction in getting likes from a joke that isn't your own and has been repeated to death. I hate this format because it's saying essentially, nobody is saying nothing. This means somebody is saying something. If they want it to carry the intended meaning it should be everybody, implying that everyone is silent on this particular issue. Another alternative would be, me, insert weird awkward thing here, nobody, wow, that was great. This implies that nobody likes your thing. Better than any calendars. At least they quote stuff which might be useful for deaf people. Probably. Who's watching this on 2020? Hit like they have a special space in hell. I swear. Anyone else a bit disappointed, sad at how the comment section turned out? I feel like a couple of years ago, you could find some really interesting, funny things in the comments. But now it's just kids rehashing the same overused joke on every vid. I lose so much hope in my fellow human beings whenever I go to read the comments off a video I liked. I just wanted to see people sharing ideas of that topic and maybe sharing mine and be it constructive and enlightening and even connecting to strangers, but it's also shallow and forcibly funny. Everything has to be a joke and this brain's format is like a cancer, spread everywhere. I keep postponing the date when I would stop looking at the comments, but I keep losing hope. I'm going to echo the words of another Redditor. The YouTube comment section is not held responsible for its negative impact on the internet. I have never seen a more brain-dead, rude, idiotic, unoriginal, thoughtless, retarded, etc. group of people. It is unreal. The amount of people who try to get their mean comment in just for likes and to feel like their word matters is absurd. It's not enough for one person to comment something. No. 5 people have to comment it because they're too goddamn lazy to browse through and see if they are, in fact, not the first or the only one thinking what they're thinking. Seriously. YouTube comment sections are a joke and so are most of the people who comment in them. Work in a corporate environment and I'm sick to death of hearing from a underscore perspective and high-level overview. Oh, there's a guy in the next office to me and he talks like that all the time. He once spoke for 15 minutes and said nothing. It was kind of impressive. But foo him. He likes to circle back a lot. When I first got into my first corporate office job, I absolutely hated all the corporate speak. 12 years later, I'm a director of a division and, we circle back on this position and find there's been a paradigm shift. There was some key learnings. Q1, the phrases helped those of us with bandwidth issues, and helped us leverage the synergies within our internal ecosystem. At the end of the day, a lot of this is low-hanging fruit, and as long as it doesn't impact anything that's mission-critical, we should align with our core competencies and above all remain results-oriented on this. That should be the takeaway here. We can revisit this in the future if there's any pushback. Anyway, let's table it for now. If there's any other revisions to our best practices, ping me and we can take it offline. There was almost no phrase in there I don't use on at least weekly basis. The ones that get me are, just playing devil's advocate here. Proceeds to say something that is in full agreement with what everyone else is saying and, during presentations, the eagle-eyed among you may notice. Then points out something super obvious on the slide. I can't stand the phrase peace. Everything is a piece. That gets into the morale piece. Now we're talking about the inventory piece. Or my very least favorite, this is important because it's an engagement piece. I'm in favor of banning the entire corporate lexicon. I think my least favorite corporate word is challenges, as in I'm having challenges printing a document. Challenge builds character, and forces you to grow as a person. I work in IT. If you end up on the phone with me, it is extremely likely that what you have are problems, and you want someone to solve them for you. And resource. Don't ever call me an IT resource, I will straight up ignore you. I like to know whether I'm about to hear an in-depth overview or one that is in summary. As someone who started out as a data analyst, I do invoke from the perspective of a database analyst in order to explain to someone that their Excel workbook is all over the place and needs to have rows and columns with consistent granularity versus scrapping all over the sheets with titles on the left and right and starting some rows and further than others and having two different datasets on the same tab, hiding columns, having column names on various rows, having blank column names, etc. You describe the correct use of that phrase. I'll give you an example of an incorrect use. What are some potential risks from a timing perspective? To me, this usage indicates lazy sentence structuring. The person's intended meaning could be, are there any timing risks? Or are there any risks to underscore with respect to the timing of underscore? Both of the above sentences are clearer questions, but as you can see in the second question, we're missing information that's required to provide an answer. From my experience, this lazy usage tends to show up most in team meetings when the speaker is inviting team members to brainstorm, so the ambiguity doesn't harm anything. I do sometimes wish they'd ask the question using direct language, though. Empower is the one I look out for. People use it when trying to dump responsibilities on people. I want to empower you with more control over our key assets, aka please do my work for me. Empower yourself by taking ownership of your career, aka work for us exclusively, but as a contractor so that we don't have to pay for any employee benefits. I've never understood why people on Reddit bash corporate talk. Sure, I understand it can become very common to hear certain words, efficient, synergy, etc. But the words serve a purpose and describe what is intended effectively. Otherwise you would just need to substitute those words for a sentence explaining an idea that a specific word already exists to describe. Do you actually cringe when you hear high-level overview? To me, high-level effectively describes a perspective and I have no problem with it. If it actually makes you sick to death, you must be a very irritable person. No offense. Unless you made this comment solely for Reddit upvotes because you knew the hive mind would agree. People like to complain about others using English properly. Doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather associate myself with people who are effective speakers rather than people who have shit vocab. Not trying to sound like an intellectual on Reddit, but at my job that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I had a teacher who ended almost every string of sentences with the type of situation. So if you walk into a room and you see 3 people, you might recognize the basic information about them, but you won't be able to reliably recall every detail of their wardrobe. That type of situation. It was so weird. He taught street law, a basic law class, and it was sometimes excruciating not to say something sarcastic. Of course I was a freshman in high school at the time. I could more easily restrain myself now. I hope my mother works around a bunch of corporate types. How about, touch base, reach out, ultimatum, synergize, above and beyond, turnover, and lots of acronyms. Instead of my boss Tim or Rhonda over there is usually something like the corporate BDRM next to the VP of DDRO is in a conference call with the COO of TIL in the CCTV. I work in tech and high-level overview makes me want to roll my eyes. It's like every other sentence in a meeting. Worse when it's tacked on at the end or interrupted in the middle of a sentence. Also, unless you are working with brand new freaking people, we know what role you are. You don't have to preface it with from a user/product/engineering QA/whatever the foo perspective. This is a very important call, please don't hang up the phone. No idea what comes next as I immediately hang up the phone, but sure it is not very important. You should be taking those calls. This week alone I was selected for a free flight, a free cruise, and I avoided a $499.99 auto renewal on my internet and phone bill, and all I had to do was provide my credit card number and details. I got them good one time. I flat out said, "So I've been looking starting a phone scam call center, can you tell me what I need to get started?" The first guy hung up, but I wasn't discouraged. I called back and got this nice Indian lady. I explained I was talking to David about setting up my own phone scam call center. He was going to hook me up with info on how to get started, but my phone died mid-call. Can you put him back on? She took the bait. "Oh, I can help you with that, sir. We have a software you can download and auto-dial from home. You send me $3,000 and it'll get you the software and information." I couldn't believe it, but she wanted me to drive 20 minutes to Walmart and send her the money. So I figured the longer she's on with me the less time she can scam other people, so I pretended to drive to Walmart. After 25 minutes she was getting impatient, so I finally told her, "Well ma'am, I'll applaud you for your honesty, but I'm not sending you anything. Have a nice day." I always start talking so it gets to an operator. Then just have it on speaker and foo with them to waste their time. "Sorry, was it Joe? I can't hear you," as I'm blasting music and cleaning dishes or something. Usually they finally get the picture and hang up, but sometimes it's great, they just keep trying to talk to me. One time I literally took a shit and came back and the dude was still asking for me. I never answer unknown numbers on my cell, but have to at work. Twice now, I've gotten a robocall that starts with a sultry female voice that asks, "Is Daddy there?" I expected it to be an obscene phone call, but right after that she says, "Just kidding, I just want to talk to you about President Trump." Click. I need to listen sometime. I'm not busy, might be entertaining. I have been getting a ton of calls from my mortgage company wanting me to refinance. I always answer because I want to know if there is something I need to know about my mortgage. It always goes like this. Mortgage company, hello, is this big woo-woo? This in an asshole with shitty mortgage company. Me, are you trying to sell me something or is this important? Mount, no, we are just here to answer any questions you might have about refin. Me, stop calling me. Click. My boss and her boss said triage and circle back all the fooing time until I pointed it out to them. Now they're like, "Sir, I'll follow up with you later, lol." It was honestly just overusing the phrases. Like they would say that shit even if they didn't have to. My boss's boss said it a lot, and my boss ended up saying it even more as a result. They're better about it, but some variety of vocabulary is nice. I'm pretty sure that for senior managers to say "let's circle back to this topic," they really mean let's stop talking about this topic, or more accurately, I've stopped talking about this topic. Throwback. And I know I've been Mia on social media, had to take a break like you just posted 3 days ago. What TF you mean? I follow this account on Instagram that posts multiple times each day. Almost every single post starts with "sorry I haven't been active guys, I'm," and then goes on to say she's either sick/anxious/depressed/something else that will make easily impressionable followers fawn all over her in the comments. "DM me right now" is one of the most popular comments I see. It's so cringe and obvious attention seeking. Everything happens for a reason. Whenever something upsetting happens or something doesn't go my way, that's all people say to me. I don't believe that everything happens for a reason. It's not comforting in any way. Everything does happen for a reason. Someone might get in a car crash, the reason being that someone else was texting and driving. I might get food poisoning, The reason for that being the smoked salmon in my fridge that's past its best by date. Whatever vapid shit they mean to say with that can be better expressed than through such a mindless cliché, but that would require thought on their part. We are an equal opportunity employer. Especially from a disability perspective. First of all, it is sad that it needs to be stated. Being equal opportunity should be the default. Secondly, I find that for many employers, this is all talk. I use a wheelchair and many of these equal opportunity employers have non-accessible office spaces, including non-accessible restrooms, no plans or desire to make workplace modifications to suit a wheelchair user, or have any flexibility in terms of working remotely, since severe weather or transportation issues impact us way more easily than able-bodied folks. I know so many people who have quit these equal opportunity employers that aren't actually equal opportunity. It's not enough to actually say it, you have to do it as well. Check out our other videos and subscribe and leave your suggestions and experiences in the comments below. Have a great day.